There is a place you cannot find on Google Maps. No travel guide mentions it. No government has officially confirmed it exists. But it's real. It has walls. It has guards. And deep inside, there are secrets kept for over 600 years, secrets so heavy that the people who carried them never spoke of them, not even on their deathbeds. In 1421, a young eunuch named Wang Jinghong walked through a set of doors that almost no living person had seen from the inside. He described the feeling later, not with excitement, but with dread. The silence, he said, was wrong, not peaceful, wrong. Like the air itself had been trained to hold still. The walls were the color of dried blood. The rooftops burned like fire. And somewhere in the labyrinth ahead, the most powerful man on earth was waiting, a man who believed he was the literal son of heaven. Wang would spend 30 years inside those walls. He would watch 3 emperors live and die, and what he witnessed, he could never fully name it, not even in his private writings. That place was the Forbidden City. And the secrets Wang carried to his grave are still in there. Here is what they will tell you officially. The Forbidden City covers 72 hectares in the heart of Beijing. It contains 980 surviving buildings. It housed 24 emperors across 5 centuries. Over 1 million workers built it. Hundreds of thousands died during its construction. The museum today receives nearly 20 million visitors a year. But here is what they will not tell you. Roughly 9,000 rooms exist within those walls, and more than 8,000 of them have never been opened to the public. Not once. Not ever. In 2016, a museum official quietly admitted they had discovered an entire section of the palace, sealed since the late 1700s. Sealed for over 200 years, and when they finally opened it, it wasn't empty. That detail should stop you cold. This is a functioning museum in a modern capital city, surrounded by cameras and millions of visitors. And yet entire wings of it haven't been entered in 2 centuries. The question isn't just what's inside those rooms. The question is why they were sealed, and why there is still no urgency to open them. Every dimension of this place was calculated against a cosmic blueprint. The number of roof ornaments on each building corresponded to that building's rank in a divine hierarchy. Yellow was reserved exclusively for imperial use, the color of earth, and the emperor was its ruler. Red meant power. Even the direction every doorway faced was a political statement. Nothing was accidental. Every stone, every carved phoenix above every doorframe was part of a language being spoken directly to heaven. And some of what was being said was not meant for human ears. The only men permitted to live inside permanently were the eunuchs, castrated servants who had surrendered everything for proximity to power. At the height of the Qing dynasty, over 3,000 eunuchs lived within those walls. They witnessed every secret, every crime, every whispered decision that shaped an empire. And when the empire finally collapsed in 1912, some of them didn't leave. They stayed, kept maintaining sealed rooms, kept following protocols that no one had bothered to abolish. Old men, moving through empty hallways, performing jobs that no longer had any purpose, for an emperor who no longer had any power. The machine kept running even after someone had switched it off. In 1923, the last Emperor Puyi ordered an audit of the treasury stored in Jianfu Palace. Before it could be completed, Jianfu Palace burned to the ground. An unknown quantity of imperial treasures, paintings, gold, priceless artifacts, were destroyed. Puyi believed it was arson, said by the eunuchs themselves, to hide what they had been stealing for years. Nobody was ever charged. The inventory was never finished. And the palace remained in ruins for 80 years. The silence, as always, was its own verdict. Then there is the well of concubination. In 1900, as foreign troops advanced on Beijing, the Empress Dowager Cixi fled. Before leaving, she ordered the emperor's favorite concubine, a young woman named Zhen, thrown down a well within the palace walls. Alive. The official reason, she might embarrass the imperial family if captured. The real reason, most historians agree, was simpler. Jealousy. Pure, imperial, unchecked jealousy. The well is still there. Tourists stand around it and take photographs. And if you stand there quietly, long enough, you feel exactly what Wang Jinghong described 600 years ago. That trained silence. That sense that the air itself has been told not to move. The Palace Museum holds over 10 million documents in its archive. Fewer than a fraction of a percent have been made available to outside scholars. There's a phrase used in the scholarship, controlled revelation. What gets shown, what gets opened, what gets announced, is always a deliberate choice. Always serving a purpose beyond simple transparency. The 8,000 rooms that remain closed are not closed because of funding or staffing. The museum has both. They are closed because someone decided they should stay closed. And the unsettling part, we don't know who is making that decision, or why, or what they are protecting. Wang Jinghong eventually left the Forbidden City and became a celebrated admiral, sailing voyages across the Indian Ocean that European explorers wouldn't match for decades. He became famous. He told stories of foreign lands and distant kings. He never wrote about what he'd seen inside the walls. Not the things that mattered. Some doors, once you've walked through them, you don't describe. You just carry them. And somewhere in Beijing, in a room sealed for 200 years, something is still waiting. Whether they'll ever let us see it, that's a different question entirely.